Good afternoon to everyone.
Hello.
Margaret, go ahead.
There you go, you're live.
Well, just welcome to everyone. This is our regular Wednesday afternoon at 3:00 meeting in which we update you about COVID and anything that you would like to ask. What's the phone number to text, Mark?
The phone number to call in questions is 236-4730 and to text is 256-708.
Okay, so I don't know that we have a lot today, but we wanted to have our meeting anyway, just to keep up this regular occurrence. We think we're going to hear something from the governor on Friday, so we're kind of waiting to see what happens with that. And Dave, why don't you update us on anything you know?
That's pretty much just echoing that same sentiment. We're kind of still in a status quo, so to speak, just waiting to hear of any changes in the orders. I know there was, the extensions for the stay at home, that sort of thing out earlier in late last week. So we're just continuing to do what we're doing. We're maintaining. Everything is good on our end. We're good with PPE and procedures, and personnel is healthy. Big thank you to all of our staff for remaining flexible in this new schedule that we're doing to kind of handle this stuff. So big thank you to them, and thanks for everyone else in town for doing their part too. So. But as of that, I know the state of New Hampshire did release that they're have been told to ramp up testing efforts across the state. So there's a number of new testing locations that are out, none that are specific right now, but there's still the procedure for those is you still are required to go through to your PCP. And if they're willing to send you to one of those, they'll have a form, whether they give to you or forward to the testing site to authorize you to have that test. But it is still based on symptoms. So it isn't just the general public can go in and have a test if they want to, not at this point right now. So, but you may be hearing that there is some additional testing sites opening up. And we should have one in the Plymouth area.
Yeah, I heard that's going to be one of the areas. But again, it's not for everybody to go to. It's a referral by your physician if you have symptoms.
That's correct. That's correct. You can't just drive up and ask for a test. It has to be a referral from your physician. For those who don't have a primary care, Convenient MD is providing telehealth visits for free of charge if you get in touch with them, or you can call the 211 number and they can direct you to the nearest place where you can get a referral.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Margaret, any update from the hospital?
Well, I was on a phone call with the hospital on Monday. And I think I've told people about this before, but the chief medical officer at Spear, Joe Ebner, does a weekly update. It's not always on the same day. And I believe he's doing it through the Penny Baker channel or something like that. But you can probably find it at the hospital website. Anyhow, I listened to him give his update last Friday, at which time he was still talking about only 4 cases that the hospital had seen. So obviously they haven't had to open up the place at the arena, which is great news. But on Monday, when I was in a meeting, they had 3 additional cases show up over the weekend, and apparently it's related to a nursing home outbreak. So that's at the most that they've seen so far at Spear Hospital. The other thing you may want to notice, I kind of look at this every day at the DHHS New Hampshire, the Department of Health and Human Services website, they have a COVID update that happens every single day. And they have a map there that shows all the cases in New Hampshire. The exception being that if a town has less than 100 people, they don't show how many cases are in that town. And if a town only has 1 to 4 cases, which is what Waterville Valley has, they do not indicate how many cases there are. Now, I would simply point out that here in Waterville Valley, we've had that 1 to 4 case category with the state of New Hampshire for probably 6 weeks now. So I think we're doing a pretty good job of our social distancing. I did notice this morning when I went to the post office that Ann had put out some social distancing requests because she had seen some things happening that should not have been. And Mark, maybe you can just go over those as to what the requirements are at the post office in case people have missed it.
Yes, so we're asking people to not have more than 2 customers inside the door of the post office at any one time. So if you go to the post office and there's already 2 customers in there, please wait outside until those customers come out, and then you can go into the post office. We're asking people to maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet between folks while they're waiting, and to try to maintain that as much as possible within the post office itself. I know it's a pretty narrow corridor, but you know, if somebody is up at the service counter with Ann, please wait at least 6 feet away. We're asking people to continue in accordance with the CDC guidelines to wear a face mask when they're inside the post office. And that's because it is such a confined space. And again, please try to plan to visit the post office a limited number of times if you can during the week. So instead of going every day, go every other day or every 3rd day. So if folks can do those things, it certainly helps. Right now, I think Chief can attest to the fact that the post office is probably the busiest place and probably the place where we have the closest social interaction in the entire town right now. So we do want to be careful as much as we can at the post office. All right.
I think also a lot of people have seen the notifications by the White Mountain National Forest that they have closed down a number of trail areas. When I saw that, I did put something out on Facebook about this, but the only trail area that is closed in the immediate Waterville Valley area is Osceola. Welsh and Dickey as well, but I consider them a little bit out of town. And what I ask people to do, because the Forest Service is basically patrolling parking lots, and if they see there are too many people coming to a particular parking lot and that they don't see social distancing being maintained, they're going to close down our places as well. And so I've been encouraging people, you know, if they're going to hike on our trails, maintain their social distancing and park somewhere other than the roads or the parking lot. I mean, if you're going out on a 5-mile hike, you can probably manage the extra half mile of going over from, the parking lot that we have near the ski academy, for instance, is rather large. So there are any number of ways that we can all continue to enjoy the White Mountain National Forest, but I just don't want us to be the next people to get shut down because too many cars in the parking lot and not enough social distancing.
Yeah, Margaret, I think that that's critical. You know, the saying, I guess, that the forest has is vote, hike local and low. So stay off the peaks and the higher trails, and even don't even drive to any parking lot, but hike directly from your house, which I think anybody here in the valley can do very easily.
Right,
And
and I've
access the
also
trails.
heard that Mad River Path has been very, very congested lately.
Okay, yeah,
That's the one that's totally in town and it's
Right.
easy to get to, and I think a lot of people are taking advantage of it, but it's gonna be hard to maintain your social distance on that path for sure.
Yeah.
So,
good. Anything else, Dave, that you can think of?
No, I certainly don't. I think those are all good points. You know, most people can certainly leave right from their house and tackle those, you know, those low and local hikes. We are aggressively enforcing the no parking because the trailheads are getting so busy that they are spilling out onto the roads. So we are using Town Ordinance 25 to enforce those, hopefully to discourage so many people congregating in one area for these trailheads. It even became a problem where it was causing a problem for our emergency vehicles to be able to get through too. So the weather is going to get nice, hopefully.
More snow.
You know, in the coming weeks, and I'm sure it's going to encourage more people that want to be outside and want to enjoy those, but we really have to, we are going to aggressively enforce the no parking. There is plenty of parking lots in Waterville Valley that people can utilize. There's no need to park on any road here. Everything is close. They certainly can use those, and it'll just help kind of spread everybody out a little bit better too.
Yep. And so Margaret, you alluded to the governor's update that we're expecting on Friday. I don't know if people are aware, but the governor has a reopening task force that he has put together. People from across the legislature, across the entire state, business interests, all kinds of different people on this task force. They're meeting almost a daily basis. And they are coming up with the guidelines that the governor hopefully is going to start sharing with us on Friday. So we are going to plan to have, we'll be updating next Wednesday as well. And we'll definitely talk about those new guidance items that come out on Friday. We are really holding off making many changes here in the town operations as far as if town hall is going to be open, what that's going to look like, et cetera, how we're going to have town employees start coming back to work on a regular basis rather than the team approach that we're using right now, those sorts of things. All of that is really on hold until we find out more on Friday. One thing that we are doing though, Margaret, that I'd like to talk about if we can, is maybe have Brooke say a few words, because we are continuing with our rec program planning and our summer camps. So if Brooke, do you mind doing just a quick update on what's going on with that?
Sure. So we are getting new information every day across the state and nationally about what people are doing about summer camps. And so we're really waiting to get a little bit more guidance from the state this week. And we're planning on doing something. We really just want to be able to deliver something. I think what it boils down to is how many we can take and, the adjustments that we'll have to make that won't really look like it does in previous summers, but that we can still deliver something for the community in terms of events and evening activities, and then also for the summer camps. But it won't really look like it has in the past. It will definitely be some adjustments. We just don't know what those are yet. And once we get some more guidelines from the state, we'll be able to sort of let everyone know what we're thinking, and hopefully what we're thinking is possible.
Yeah, good. Any questions, Rich, Margaret?
Well, I think we should also mention this community forum that Tim Smith started from the
Alright.
mountain that has 40 or 50 people that get together every Tuesday. They are looking for input specifically for next Tuesday. What they would like to do is have kind of the same guidelines being followed after reopening with respect to social distancing, masks, any of those kinds of things, regardless of the activity that is taking place in the valley. So I know we will get our guidance from public safety, but if anybody has ideas about, well, really creative ways that we can open and keep everybody safe, I think that's what Tim is looking for input on.
Yes.
So that phone call is every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. It lasts an hour at most, and it's a good way to catch up on what's going on throughout the community. And Tim, if you don't have the Zoom address, you can get it from Tim. The meeting is open to anyone who wants to come.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So we hopefully will have a lot to talk about at the end of the week. We'll have more to share with folks next week for sure. I did want to just mention too that the water and sewer bills have gone out. And we just want to thank everyone. The response again is, as normal, has been great in those payments, and that's really appreciated because we're gonna, we don't have our regular other than tax revenues coming in because of the limitations that we're under right now. So that's very, very much appreciated, and we do anticipate because we've had a couple in May and be due at the middle time in the beginning of July. So that's on the horizon. So.
Anything else, anyone?
Just so anyone wants to text a question in for anyone at home, 254-6708, 254-6708, area code 603.
Yeah, and Jim, we're hopefully going to get the public works. You may see our public works crews back as early as next week, again, depending on what happens Friday, but that's our plan right now, and they'll be continuing their usual spring cleanup activities. So you're going to see the guys out and about.
Yeah, I got a question about that today when I was out walking. Somebody was asking when the sidewalks were going to be cleaned up, and I said, I'm sure Jim has it on his list.
It is at the top of the list.
It is at the top of the list. I was just going to say that, Jim. Yeah, we talked about that earlier today. So yeah, as soon as we can get the crew back, we'll start working on that. Rich, any questions or comments from you?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. All right, well, we don't appear to have any questions right now. So if you do have questions, and even if you want to email them to us, townofwv@watervillevalley.org. You can always email us questions. We'll get back to you just as quickly as we can. And appreciate everybody's support here and helping us deal with this situation. And our next update will be next Wednesday, May 6th at 3 p.m. Look forward to seeing you all there. And,
Stay well.
all right. You
Thank
too.
you.
See you later.
Bye. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.